After a couple of fairly lackluster episodes, The Harsh Light of Day offers a refreshing return to form. It's an episode that has a surprising amount of character progression, offers a solid villain, and investigates a college experience without feeling cliché. The episode's focus is on Buffy and her relationship with Parker. They had shared a few brief conversations and a sidelong glance, but now they're going out, or at least hanging. He seems emotionally vulnerable, doesn't push, and is overall the perfect gentleman, exactly what Buffy was looking for after her doomed relationship with Angel. Unfortunately, it turns out he's a complete asshole, and ghosts her as soon as they have sex. Knowing this makes this whole episode feel like a ticking time bomb, and every bit of dialogue from him feels slimy. Despite this, we can still understand where Buffy is coming from, and why she fell for him. He's a sophomore, learned about how college works, but the age difference is not quite so severe as Angel's. He also manages to convince Buffy that their moving forward is her idea, that she's making all the choices and has all the power. Choices are a prominent theme this season, although they're mostly not of the relationship variety. This is an early example putting them at the forefront, however, which is something the series has always been good at. The day after they have sex is a very familiar scene. Buffy, alone, naked in a bed with scarlet covers. In this case, however, Parker returns with coffee and a smile, not a demon wearing his face. At least, that's how it first appears. He then promises Buffy he'll call her, and they'll meet up later, which are, of course, lies. He's later seen flirting with another girl, who happens to be a blonde with a passive resemblance to Buffy, which tells us everything we need to know. Even at the end of the episode, Buffy is still wondering what she did wrong, and if there is still a chance to make a relationship work out. But Willow is luckily on her side, acting as the mature one of the group. That's the role she's had in the last few episodes, without really an arc or progression to speak of. The season will eventually have some major changes, but for now she's stable, predictable status quo girl. The episode also explores other relationship dynamics, however, which are contrasted with Buffy's experience. Anya is reintroduced, having returned from fleeing a giant demon at the end of last season. She's now experiencing emotions that she hasn't had for over a millennia, and needs an outlet for them. In this case it's Xander, who is understandably confused by her forthrightness, first wanting to discuss their relationship, which previously consisted of a single date, then offering sex in order to clear both their heads. Again is the woman who pushes for physical contact, and after it's done, she takes on the role that Parker did, claiming that she's now over Xander, and they can move on with their lives. Unlike Parker, however, she's lying, trying to delude herself that she's above the basic emotions that she responded to as a demon. Much of her progression for the rest of the season, and even the series, is contrasting the nature of being human with the resistance to falling into the same traps she saw over and over again. Finally, we complete the triumvirate of relationships with Harmony. She's back, and now a vampire, as depicted in the finale of last season. She leads off strong, biting Willow and claiming her boyfriend will enact revenge, but immediately devolves into being a mewling pet when she goes back home to Spike, the villain for the episode. While he doesn't have as many interactions with the main cast this episode as Fool for Love, he still offers a dominant screen presence. It's also interesting to see him actually working, even putting on a welder's mask and using heavy machinery. It's a very different side of Spike, something that was shown briefly in Season 2, but faded away once he got injured. It shows that when he has a goal, he is actually able to set targets and execute it. He went looking for a mythical artifact, found it, and then was very close to killing the Slayer. While his taunts are not as effective as they were last time, he still wounds Buffy by highlighting the mistakes she made with Parker. Harmony is similarly wounded for believing in Spike. In this case, she is literally stabbed through the heart, as Buffy is never subtle, but it's easy to see why she would be attracted to Spike. She's the same age as Buffy, newly on her own, and experiencing a new world, that of being a vampire. Someone dark and mysterious who can guide her through it is an easy thing to latch onto, even if he's abusive both mentally and physically. With all three relationships, the women went in with the incorrect expectations and were betrayed by the men they put trust in. While there are varying degrees here, the emotions are very similar, as depicted in the final shot. Relationships are hard work, and this episode highlights the myriad of things that can go wrong. While the story here is largely self-contained, Spike comes to town, finds his MacGuffin, loses it, then apparently leaves. There are further-reaching character conflicts that shape the next few episodes, and all of the themes and emotions persist for the remainder of the season. Overall, it reminds me of why I loved Buffy in the first place,